Hey guys, it's Sarah Reynolds, your favorite progressive patriot, and welcome to Election Day. I'm back in the park and I was trying to sit on my bench, but there are people in the freaking park. I'm like, who are these people? Why are they in my park? This is not a public park. Okay, so we are talking about Election Day. It is the 4th of November, so please get out and vote. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, if voting made a difference, they'd make it illegal. No. Do not be snowed by this divide and conquer propaganda. It is absolute bullshit. Your vote does matter. Now, if voting doesn't matter, how come Sean McCutcheon, who's a Texas billionaire, went all the way to the Supreme Court to get campaign spending limits lifted? Why? Why did he want the permission to actually use money to buy our vote? Why? Because your vote does matter. In fact, it's priceless. But he could actually put a dollar amount on it, and that's millions of dollars. That's how valuable our vote is, that he wanted permission to be able to purchase it with dollars. Okay, now, if voting doesn't matter, then how come corporations went all the way to the Supreme Court to get permission to, again, spend endless amounts of money on influencing who we will vote for? Because why? This is not a rhetorical question. The reason is because your vote absolutely does matter. From a logic standpoint, everybody who is in office today, everybody who has been in Congress as a senator, as a representative, whether it's through the US Congress or through the state Senate or House, that person was elected by people who cast a ballot. So whether they're narcissists and liars or they're good, these people got there, they got their job because we hired them by voting for them. That's how they got their job. This is not a matter of opinion, okay? This is a fact. The people who are in office got there because ballots were cast. No matter how corrupt you think the system is, and I am absolutely of the school of thought that the campaign spending limits ought to be way lower than they are. Even if you think that, like me, money isn't speech and it shouldn't be protected so that corporations and individuals can spend endless amount of money to influence our vote, it's the truth is that on election day we choose who is going to represent us in Congress by casting our ballot. Now again, if the vote doesn't matter so much, how come 19 states have passed legislation, passed laws making it harder to vote? They're literally trying to legislate silence, literally trying to keep you from expressing your desire for who it is you want representing you in Washington or in your state capital. It is so unethical, it is so immoral and unjust, it is absolutely crazy and evil. It's just downright the opposite of good. And I'm not one of those people that throws that word around because I think it's used way too often, but it's really morally wrong, really morally bankrupt to prevent someone from being able to vote. Now again, people will say, voting doesn't matter, voting doesn't matter. Really? Really? Because the 19th Amendment that allows women to vote, or rather, that you'll be able to vote regardless of your gender, and the 15th Amendment that allows black people to vote, or rather, does not restrict you from voting based on your race. Those amendments, the 15th Amendment and the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, they were passed by an all-white male Congress, okay? It matters. Voting matters. If you think it doesn't, all you just got to do is look back at history for 2 seconds. It's incredible to me. I mean, it's almost miraculous, except it's not. It is logical, so we can't call it a true miracle, but it is amazing that an all-white male Congress voted to pass a law, and then it was ratified by individual states, all male white Congress, that amendment, the 15th and the 19th, that those two amendments could be passed. It's amazing, you guys. It's cool. It's awesome. We live in a great country. We have progress. When you're living your own little life, your own little minuscule life in your own bubble, you feel like things are bad, things are corrupt, but in truth, every generation, new progress is made. So please try not to lose hope, because actually it's incredible. It's amazing how much freedom we have. Now, I realize that not everyone is like me and wakes up on election day and is like, whoa, yeah, it's so awesome, time to vote. Yes, I'm unique. This is true. And this is, of course, goes back to how I was taught to be thankful for all my freedoms. And people who've watched my videos before know that my mom took me into the voting booth with her when I was 7 years old in the 1988 Bush Dukakis election, and she lifted me up and showed me this ballot, and she said, people died so that we wouldn't have a monarch. People literally gave their lives, not so that they would be able to vote because they knew they were going to die on a bloody battlefield, but so that you and future generations, like me, she was referring to herself, would have the ability to cast a ballot instead of having a monarch decree our quality of life through various decrees. We're so lucky, and not only blessed, whatever word you want to use to describe it, but we, I think, are then responsible to maintain these freedoms for future generations and to be grateful. That is one of the things that was just drilled into me over the years, to be grateful for these freedoms, and I am. And when you don't vote, not only is your voice not being counted, you're saying that you are not grateful for all of the veterans who have passed for you. The Revolutionary War veterans, number one, we should be most thankful to them because we do not live under a monarchy because of those Revolutionary War vets. So thank you to all people who serve our country and protect our right to vote. Thank you very much, past, dead and alive. Thank you. So, you guys, please be sure to get out there, cast your ballot. Voting does matter. And what we need to talk about is, as millennials, we have got to shift the paradigm as much as the baby boomers did. Our generation is bigger than the boomers. We're the biggest generation in US history. It is up to us. If you're sick of the divide and conquer propaganda, if you're sick of the two-party system, remember, you need to run then. Look in the mirror. The big idealist who ought to run for Congress, that's you. Okay, you gotta be 25 to run to be a representative in the House. You gotta be 30 to be a senator. You gotta be 35 to run for president. It's time, okay? If we want a third party, if we want to get the progressive patriot ticket off the ground, who are more socially liberal but constitutionally integrity-based, the Bill of Rights based, then we've got to work for that. We've got to take action. We've got to spread the word. But sitting at home and not voting is not only totally ungrateful, it must not be an option. Okay, we've got to say who we want to win these elections. Now, your silence when you stay at home and you say, I'm not participating, your silence is actually a weighted vote for everything to stay exactly the same. Do not be manipulated by that divide and conquer propaganda. It is a lie. It is absolutely succeeding every time people say, I'm not even going to participate, I'm not even going to vote. We must start voting then for other better people. And here's the most important thing I'm going to say in this whole video. We get the leverage when it comes time for re-election, okay? So let's say you got a job you really liked, like a lot of people in Congress, they like their job, they want to keep it. We are their bosses. They work for us. So when it comes time for them to run for re-election, that's when we have the greatest amount of leverage. We say, look, if you don't do what I want for the next 2 years, representative, or 6 years, senator, I'm not going to vote for you again. You're gonna lose your job. But people don't think of this. People think of them as beyond us, as above us. No. They work for us. We are their employers. We pay their salary. Look, even if you don't even have a job, you pay federal taxes that pay their salary. You pay it when you fill up your car with gas. You pay when you buy cigarettes. There are multiple federal taxes that you pay, even if you don't have a job and have money coming out of your paycheck going into Social Security. You still pay federal tax. So remember, that's when we have the greatest leverage, and that's the difference between power, control, and authority. So we have power every time we vote. We said this is what we want. But we have a lot of control and leverage when we vote again for that person, or we say we're not going to vote for you. You're going to lose your job if you don't do what we want. Hey, corporations are hip to this game. We're not going to give you money to fund your re-election campaign if you don't do what we want. Well, we need to say, hey, we're more powerful than those corporations. We're not going to vote for you if you don't do what we want. Bottom line, you got to remember, you have the power as a voter and the control. We have power and leverage. And authority, all that is the ability to make the rules. We have the power to choose who makes the rules. Don't ever forget it. Anybody who tells you different is lying to you because somehow they profit. Now, there are two kinds of greed. Greed for power and greed for money. So anytime someone's trying to get you to not vote, ask them, do they get off on power or do they get off on money? Because it's one or two, it's one or both. That's the bottom line. Okay, please be sure to Go to my blog, check it out, messages2millennials.com. Thank you so much for tuning in today to this video, and I hope you have a great day and cast that ballot. Remember, if you don't like anybody on the ballot, just do what my mom always did. You just write in Nathan Hale. You just write in Nathan Hale. You don't have to vote for someone alive, but you're saying, I am going to vote because I am so thankful for the freedom to vote, that people died so that I would have. Thank you.